So the first reading speaks of an encounter that you could possibly imagine just in the parish. You have Elisha, who is the one who came after Elijah, and he is traveling to an area in which he's serving, and one of the families there invites him to dinner. And he would come each time that he would pass by, so much so that the wife said to her husband, "Since he visits us often, let's make a guest room for him on the roof. Let's make a bed, table, chairs, lamp, so that when he comes, he can stay there." So, in that ordinary moment, I invite you to think about the call of hospitality, especially in welcoming our Lord. Because Elisha here is an image of Jesus Christ. He's called the man of God. He is a prophet, a miracle worker. He actually brings someone back from the dead. All these things are signs. A lot of his kind of miracles are ones that you see Jesus fulfilling on a much deeper level. So Elisha is like a sign of Jesus. And so if we see this Christ figure coming by, and this family makes space in their schedule and even in their very home, and they take that extra time to make table, chairs, bed. We might say, well, we could have just bought it on Amazon or whatever, but, at that time, they'd have to build it, they'd have to craft it, they might have had a lot of other things going on, and yet, the hospitality aspect is their ability to pause, to stop, and to offer the sacrifice of their time and their craftsmanship to make something for this passerby, that he might be seen as a welcome guest. So if we think of their home as our heart, and as this church, it was beautiful when you came in. I don't know if you noticed the artwork that was right on the ground there. There was a family that came yesterday, and they spent a little bit of time doing some chalk art to make you feel welcomed. To be able to say, we missed you. It's good to have you here. Now, they probably were very busy. Maybe had a lot of other things to do. And even the fact that chalk art is something that will go away in a rainstorm. So if it rains later today, all of that artwork is just going to disappear. But do you see how there's a heart that's being given in that work out there? And it's being given to those who are coming to be guests in the house. Can we do that with the Lord? Can we do that with the Lord in a way in which we learn how to pause? And maybe in this time of pandemic, hopefully we've learned in the midst of this time to find those moments that pausing is good. To be able to sit in those quiet moments. Because our Lord wants to spend time. But how much more is he going to be filled with joy if we don't merely just put a sign on the door of our heart saying, well, just come. But when we actually have the welcome mat out, when we make chalk art right in front of the door of our heart, when we take that moment to be a gift of ourselves. That's one of the great things about artists, is that artists are able to take themselves and put them into their work as a way of saying, here, I offer myself to you. And we're called to be artisans of welcome to the Lord. Finding that extra time, that extra way in the heart to make sure that the Lord's welcome. Because notice what Elisha does when he sees this welcome, when he sees that this room has been provided for him, not as an afterthought, but as a very intentional, we want you to be here. It moves his heart to want to come over and over and over and over again. So much so that Elisha then says, can something be done for her? The one who opened her heart to say, let's make space for this man of God. That's what the Lord wants to say with us. He wants his heart to be conquered by our heart, and by the way that we truly welcome him into our heart, especially as we receive the Eucharist, to make sure that that guest room is there and that it's cleaned out. The clutter is gone. That's one of the great gifts of confession. This confession is the vacuum cleaner that just goes in and it just gets rid of all the stuff. So then a space can be provided for the Lord to rest, and for the Lord to be filled with so much joy that he then says, what can I do for you? You've given your heart to me. I want to give my heart even more. And that's where this woman receives that gift of life. And the Lord wants to bring a deep, sweet, spiritual gift of life deep within our heart. But many times, and you'll notice this in the scriptures, he waits. He wants to give it, but he waits to draw this trust out of us, to draw this deep love. So allow the Lord to draw that out. Take time within your heart, but also within your home as well. To think about your home. Does it have a special place of prayer? When people come into your home, do they see that you are a lover of Jesus Christ? Is there a little spot in which you can bring your children or your grandchildren? And something that I love to tell even our school-age children is for the children themselves in their bedrooms to find a little prayer corner. To find a spot in which you can have a little Bible there, a rosary, a little picture of Jesus and Mary, a little cubbyhole in a sense, where you can spend that special time. You can allow the Lord to be able to enter into your bedroom and have that time of regular prayer. So maybe that's something to encourage your children, grandchildren with as well. And the other way that we practice this welcoming of the Lord is welcoming our neighbor. Loving our neighbor as we love ourselves. Because the core of hospitality is seeing the other as Christ himself and welcoming him there. So as we continue to move forward and as we allow the busyness to come back, let's protect this ability of making space for the Lord, of being hospitable to the Lord as he comes to us in the sacraments, but as he comes to us in one another. Do we take that pause to listen to the other? Do we take that pause to call the other? Do we take that pause to offer a beautiful work of our hands, just like this family did right in the front of the church? That conveys the heart. And in doing that, you are welcoming Christ himself.